This presentation is entitled Navigating the Storm, Crisis Management During COVID-19 in the Ministry of Education, Leadership Styles and Change Theories. I'll be taking a look at the leadership strategies and change paradigms adopted by educational authorities as this becomes imperative for fostering resilience, innovation, and sustainable transformation. As an educator within a public school board for the last 18 years, I am very vested in the policies and procedures that are undertaken by the Ministry of Education. I chose this particular change because this was a period of time for which I was greatly affected, and I'm interested in learning about how that change affected and will affect students, parents, and families for years to come. Taking a look at the agenda for this presentation, we will begin with a description of the change experience within the Ministry of Education of Ontario, citing key policies and circumstances for this change. The context will be examined, namely factors that inhibited change as well as factors that supported the change. We'll then take a look at the relevant leadership theories as well as the relevant change models applicable to this scenario. And then an analysis and a discussion of the major challenges and successes of the ministry's response to the COVID-19 crisis will be undertaken. The Ministry of Education, a pivotal government body overseeing the education sector, is entrusted with shaping and implementing policies to ensure the delivery of quality education across the province of Ontario. With a vast organizational structure comprising regional offices and educational institutions, its formal purpose is to develop, regulate, and enhance the education system. The mission is to provide accessible, inclusive, and high-quality education that equips learners for success in a rapidly evolving world. As the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the globe, the Ministry of Education faced unprecedented challenges necessitating swift policy adaptations. Key policies included guidelines for remote learning, health and safety protocols for in-person classes, and measures to address the socio-emotional well-being of students and educators. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ontario brought forth a confluence of challenges for the Ministry of Education. The sudden closures of schools, the need for rapid deployment of remote learning, and the imperative to ensure the safety of students and staff demanded a paradigm shift. The organization faced the urgent task of redefining its operational norms to address the complex educational landscape altered by the pandemic. In response to the crisis, the ministry swiftly formulated emergency policies addressing immediate concerns such as transitioning to remote learning, ensuring student well-being, and establishing health and safety protocols for potential in-person classes. Transparent communication became paramount, with leaders disseminating information about policy changes, safety measures, and contingency plans to all stakeholders. Regular updates and guidelines were provided to schools, teachers, parents, and students, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. The ministry facilitated professional development for educators, equipping them with the skills and tools needed for effective remote learning. Resources were reallocated to address emerging needs such as technology for remote learning, mental health support, and training for health and safety measures in schools. Lastly, the ministry promoted a culture of continuous learning, encouraging feedback from educators and stakeholders to refine policies and strategies. Ongoing evaluation mechanisms were established to assess the effectiveness of implemented changes and to adapt strategies based on evolving circumstances. The entrenched nature of traditional education systems and practices led to resistance among some educators and stakeholders. The sudden shift to remote learning challenged established norms, leading to reluctance and skepticism. Disparities in access to technology and the internet among students and educators created challenges for the widespread adoption of remote learning. This digital divide hindered the effective implementation of online education and exacerbated existing inequalities. The unprecedented nature of the pandemic and the evolving circumstances generated uncertainty and anxiety among educators, students, and parents. This emotional stress became a barrier to embracing and adapting to new educational models. Inadequate resources, both financial and infrastructural, posed a significant hurdle. Some schools lacked the necessary technology, training, and support systems to smoothly transition to remote learning or implement enhanced health and safety measures. Finally, the bureaucratic nature of large educational systems can impede swift decision-making. Complex hierarchies and bureaucratic procedures slowed down the process of enacting and implementing rapid policy changes needed in response to the crisis. The adoption of distributed leadership facilitated collaboration and shared decision-making. Local leaders working in tandem with the broader organization promoted a more flexible and responsive approach to the crisis. The urgency of the crisis acted as a catalyst for change. The severity of the situation necessitated quick and adaptive responses, compelling stakeholders to overcome resistance and embrace innovative solutions. Despite the digital divide, the availability of technology acted as a crucial enabler. Investments in technology infrastructure, software, and training programs helped bridge gaps and facilitated the adoption of remote learning. The ministry's ability to swiftly formulate and adapt policies in response to the evolving circumstances supported effective change. The flexibility in policy allowed for continuous adjustments based on feedback and the evolving nature of the pandemic. Lastly, the shared sense of purpose among educators, administrators, and stakeholders, driven by the common goal of ensuring the well-being and education of students, created a cohesive environment. This shared purpose helped overcome challenges and fostered a collective commitment to change. The traditional hierarchical structure of educational institutions with centralized decision-making initially posed a challenge. However, the crisis prompted a re-evaluation of these structures, leading to a more decentralized and collaborative approach. The resilience embedded in the culture of education played a crucial role. The intrinsic value placed on learning and adaptability within the education system allowed for a more resilient response to the challenges posed by the pandemic. Societal structures, particularly community engagement, played a dual role. While local communities provided essential support and adaptation, they also reflected existing disparities, as some communities were better equipped to navigate the changes than others. Lastly, the prevailing values within the education system, such as a commitment to student well-being and continuous learning, became driving forces for change. These values guided decision-making and policy formulation during the crisis. Transformational leaders serve as role models, earning admiration and trust. Their actions align with their words, inspiring others to follow suit. Leaders communicate a compelling vision, motivating and energizing individuals to work toward shared goals. Transformational leaders encourage creativity and innovation, fostering a culture of continuous learning and problem solving. Leaders recognize and cater to the unique needs and strengths of individuals, promoting a personalized approach. Transformational leadership is pertinent in the context of the COVID-19 crisis as it provides a visionary and motivational approach to navigating uncertainties. The need for shared vision, adaptability, and innovation aligns with the core principles of transformational leadership. With distributed leadership, leadership responsibilities are shared across various levels, empowering local leaders to make context-specific decisions. Leaders at different levels collaborate to address challenges collectively, leveraging diverse perspectives. Leadership roles are distributed based on expertise, fostering a more inclusive and adaptable organizational structure. Distributed leadership is crucial during crises, allowing for agile and context-specific decision-making. In the face of the rapidly evolving COVID-19 situation, distributed leadership enabled a more responsive and collaborative approach. In change leadership theory, leaders articulate a compelling vision for the future, providing a roadmap for change. Effective change leaders align strategies with the organizational vision, ensuring that actions are purposeful and directed toward desired outcomes. Change leaders focus on transforming organizational culture to support and sustain change initiatives. Change leadership theory is pertinent as it emphasizes the need for a clear vision and strategic alignment during times of significant change. The theory recognizes the importance of cultural shifts to support and embed change in the organization. Adaptive leaders assess the current situation, understanding challenges and opportunities. Adaptive leaders encourage questioning and challenging established norms to promote innovation. Adaptive leaders create an environment that supports and encourages adaptive change, fostering resilience and agility. Adaptive leadership is relevant as it focuses on diagnosing and responding to specific challenges presented by the crisis. It promotes a flexible and responsive approach, essential for navigating the uncertainties of the COVID-19 pandemic. Lastly, situational leadership adapts its style based on the readiness and capability of followers. Leadership behavior is adjusted according to the nature of the task and the interpersonal dynamics involved. Leadership's effectiveness is contingent on the readiness and maturity of its followers. Situational leadership is relevant in a dynamic and evolving crisis context. Leaders must tailor their approach based on the specific challenges and readiness levels of stakeholders, acknowledging the diverse and changing nature of the educational landscape during the pandemic. In 1996, John Kotter, a Harvard Business School professor and renowned change expert, introduced his 8-step model of change, which he developed on the basis of research of 100 organizations which were going through a process of change. His 8 steps are: Number 1, establishing a sense of urgency. Convey the need for change and create a sense of urgency. Number 2, create a guiding coalition. Form a dedicated team to lead the change effort. Number 3, developing a vision and strategy. Craft a clear vision and strategy to guide the change. Number 4, communicating the change vision. Effectively communicate the vision to stakeholders. Number 5, empowering broad-based action. Empower employees to take action and contribute to the change. Number 6, generating short-term wins. Celebrate quick wins to build momentum. Number 7, consolidating gains and producing more change. Reinforce change and make necessary adjustments. And number 8, anchoring new approaches in the culture. Ensure the change becomes ingrained in the organizational culture. Kotter's model is applicable to the COVID-19 crisis as it provides a structured approach to managing change, aligning with the need for a comprehensive strategy. The focus on communication, empowerment, and cultural integration aligns with the multifaceted challenges faced by the Ministry of Education. Lewin's change management theory helps account for both the uncertainty and resistance to change that can be experienced at all staff levels within an organization. The key components are: unfreeze, recognize the need for change and create a sense of dissatisfaction with the status quo; change, implement the desired change; and refreeze, stabilize and reinforce the change, making it a permanent part of the organizational culture. Lewin's model is relevant as it emphasizes the importance of preparing for change, implementing it effectively, and then stabilizing the new state. The phased approach aligns with the ministry's need to adapt to the crisis while ensuring that changes become ingrained in the educational system. ADKAR is a goal-oriented change management model that guides individual and organizational change. The 5 letters represent the 5 tangible and concrete outcomes that people are required to achieve for sustainable change. Awareness, create awareness about the need for change. Desire, build a desire for change among stakeholders. Knowledge, provide the necessary knowledge and skills for change. Ability, enable individuals to implement the change. And reinforcement, reinforce the change to ensure it becomes a lasting part of the organizational culture. The ADKAR model is relevant as it focuses on individual and organizational levels, aligning with the need to address the diverse needs of educators, students, and parents. It emphasizes building awareness and desire, crucial aspects in a crisis context. In summary, these change models provide diverse perspectives on managing change, offering frameworks for planning, executing, and sustaining change efforts. The relevance of each model lies in its ability to address different facets of the complex and multifaceted change experience by the Ministry of Education during the COVID-19 crisis. The leadership theory, which I feel is the most apt at describing the change experience in the COVID-19 crisis, is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership articulates a compelling vision for adapting to challenges such as the COVID-19 crisis. It motivates stakeholders by emphasizing the importance of their roles in ensuring the continuity of education. It encourages creativity and innovation to address the evolving educational landscape. And it recognizes and addresses the unique needs of teachers, students, and parents during the crisis. Kotter's 8-step change model, to me, is the most relevant in explaining the COVID-19 crisis in the educational landscape. It conveyed this need for swift adaptation in response to the COVID-19 crisis. There's a coalition involved where collaborative teams at various levels are created to lead and implement the change. This change model effectively communicates policies and strategies to navigate the challenges posed by the pandemic. It empowers broad-based action, which encourages empowered educators, administrators, and support staff to contribute to the change. And lastly, this change model reinforces successful changes and makes adjustments based on ongoing evaluations. The identified leadership theory and model of change align well with the change experienced in the Ministry of Education during the COVID-19 crisis. Transformational leadership is crucial for inspiring and motivating stakeholders during challenging times, and Kotter's model provides a structured approach to implementing and consolidating such change. Transformational leadership and the Kotter model facilitated adaptation to new teaching methodologies, technology integration, and collaborative problem solving. Professional development opportunities helped educators navigate the challenges effectively. However, some educators faced initial resistance to change, especially in adapting to remote teaching methods. The change allowed for the continuation of education through remote and hybrid learning models. Efforts were made to address the socio-emotional well-being of students. However, the digital divide posed challenges for students with limited access to technology and the internet. Clear communication and engagement efforts provided parents with information about safety protocols, changes in learning formats, and resources for supporting their children at home. However, balancing work responsibilities with supporting their children's education from home posed challenges for many parents. Transformational leadership and the Kotter model facilitated effective decision-making, communication, and strategic planning at the administrative level. However, the need for rapid decision-making and resource allocation was demanding, and some bureaucratic challenges slowed down the process. Collaboration and community engagement were emphasized, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. However, disparities in community resources and capabilities led to varied experiences and outcomes across different regions. Overall, the change was effective for many stakeholders, with positive consequences such as adaptability, innovation, and collaborative problem solving. However, challenges existed, particularly related to resistance, the digital divide, and disparities in resources. The effectiveness of the change varied among stakeholders, emphasizing the importance of ongoing evaluation and adaptation to ensure an inclusive and equitable educational environment. Overcoming resistance among educators and stakeholders to the sudden shift in educational practices, especially the adoption of remote learning, was a challenge. However, transformational leadership played a crucial role in addressing resistance by inspiring and motivating individuals to embrace the change. Disparities in access to technology and the internet pose challenges in ensuring equitable participation in remote learning. However, both transformational leadership and distributed leadership were instrumental in addressing this challenge by fostering innovation and resource allocation to bridge the digital divide. Managing the uncertainty and anxiety among educators, students, and parents during the rapidly evolving COVID-19 crisis was a major challenge. However, transformational leadership played a crucial role in providing clear vision, reassurance, and support during times of uncertainty. Overcoming bureaucratic challenges in decision-making and policy implementation, particularly in a context that demanded swift responses, was one of the challenges of the COVID-19 crisis. Transformational leadership and elements of distributed leadership were essential in streamlining decision-making processes and promoting a more collaborative approach. The Ministry of Education demonstrated adaptability by swiftly implementing new policies and strategies in response to the evolving crisis. Transformational leadership and aspects of adaptive leadership were effective in fostering a responsive and flexible approach. Emphasizing collaboration and community engagement resulted in a sense of unity and shared purpose among stakeholders. Distributed leadership played a positive role in fostering collaboration and engagement at various levels. Successful integration of technology for remote learning, addressing challenges posed by the digital divide, was a success of the Ministry of Education. Transformational leadership inspired the adoption of innovative solutions, and distributed leadership facilitated the allocation of resources and expertise. The context played a significant role in shaping the change process, given the unprecedented nature of the global pandemic. The COVID-19 crisis imposed external pressures and uncertainties that leaders had to navigate. While leaders demonstrated agency in formulating and implementing change strategies, the external context, including public health concerns and societal dynamics, imposed constraints and influenced the trajectory of the change. This aligns with the concept of contextual intelligence, emphasizing the importance of leaders understanding and adapting to the specific context in which they operate. Leadership, particularly transformational leadership, played a larger role, in my opinion, in driving change during the COVID-19 crisis. Transformational leaders provided a vision, inspired motivation, and fostered a sense of collective purpose. While elements of management were essential, such as strategic planning and resource allocation, the emphasis on adaptation, innovation, and addressing the emotional dimensions of the crisis showcased the predominance of leadership. This resonates with the idea that effective leaders often integrate aspects of both leadership and management, but during periods of significant change, leadership qualities tend to take precedence. The ministry ought to strengthen communication strategies to ensure consistent and transparent information flow, addressing concerns and uncertainties among stakeholders. The ministry should provide targeted professional development to address the specific needs of educators in adapting to new teaching methodologies and technology integration. The ministry ought to foster community-driven solutions by actively engaging with local communities to understand and address unique challenges and resource disparities. The ministry should continue to prioritize continuous evaluation of the change process, soliciting feedback from stakeholders, and adapting strategies based on evolving circumstances. The ministry should direct efforts towards sustainable solutions that address long-term challenges, such as the digital divide, to ensure lasting positive impacts. Lastly, the ministry should emphasize the cultivation of a culture of resilience and adaptability, preparing the organization for potential future challenges. To conclude, the Ministry of Education's change process during the COVID-19 crisis showcased the dynamic interplay between leadership, context, and the challenges inherent in navigating unprecedented circumstances. The success of the change process was rooted in effective leadership strategies that embraced adaptability, community engagement, and a focus on both the technical and human aspects of change. Ongoing evaluation and adaptation will be crucial for sustaining the positive outcomes and addressing remaining challenges.